Hey everybody, I just want to give it another minute or so just so that we can have any last minute joiners kind of go ahead and come into the feed. We'll get started in just a minute. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Mage's Lunch and Learn series. We haven't done one of these in a while, but we decided to kind of get these going again. And today we are going to do our Lunch and Learn to build an MCP server in Mage and have a basic AI pipeline running. Just for preface, I'm not a AI engineer, and really this Lunch and Learn is so that you can kind of spark some ideas. If you have a POC you want to get going for your company and you need something quick, this is the Lunch and Learn series for you. So let's go ahead and get started. So just to introduce this Lunch and Learn series again, or really reintroduce it, these are quick live training sessions. And like I said, this will be on an intro to MCP, or Model Context Protocol. So we'll have kind of a quick slide deck that we'll run through, and then a live demo in Mage Pro. And then you can type your questions into the chat, and I will do my best to answer them. If not, we can get back to you at a later time. So just for reference, if you do have a question, go ahead and type it in the chat right away. There does sometimes tend to be a lag with certain streaming sources. So go ahead and submit those questions as soon as you have them. So a little bit about me. I was a 7-year law enforcement veteran. I was a police officer before getting into my data career. I worked as a patrol officer on a midnight shift, and then also as a street gang detective. So my segue into data is a little bit, my data story is a little bit different, I guess you could say. I also worked as a data analytics consultant for 5 years. This was mainly on federal government contracts. And I've been with Mage just a little over a year now as their one of their developer advocates. So if you're not familiar with Mage, Mage is a data pipeline tool for transforming and integrating data. We have both a pro offering and also an open source offering. Some of the advantages to choosing Mage Pro is that you won't need to worry about any of the infrastructure behind the system. We'll handle all the upgrades and things like that for you. You can get access to new and advanced features, and can actually create custom feature requests as well. We also have or offer 24/7 support for our Mage Pro customers. So getting into the more details about the slide deck, traditional AI limitations. A lot of times AI models will rely on general trading data, which is sometimes maybe outdated. Some models that you're probably used to hearing this term hallucination. Sometimes I like to refer to as lying to me sometimes. And many AI models won't have source traceability for where they're getting their information. So what if we could connect AI to your knowledge systems and get answers based only on your documents, and also maintain that full traceability from source to answer? Well, that's where Model Context Protocol comes in. And it's an open standard that enables developers to build secure two-way connections between their data sources and AI-powered tools. Essentially, MCP is the bridge that lets AI applications talk to your data, databases, any knowledge sources that you might have in a standardized and secure way. So what are some key features of MCP? MCP provides a standard protocol, which is a universal interface, eliminating the need for custom integrations between your AI application and data sources. It offers secure bi-directional connections, which are two-way communications between AI systems and external data sources. And they also offer dynamic capability discovery, where at the runtime discovery of available tools, resources, and prompts enables AI systems to automatically adapt to new data sources and capabilities without code changes. So we're gonna go through a pipeline that basically builds what we call a tractor. So this is a real world scenario. My son, he's 8 years old, started asking questions about space and the universe. And one of those he asked about was the Great Attractor. He had heard about this somewhere. I can't remember where it was. And I didn't have the answers. So I thought it would be interesting if we found a knowledge source that we could connect Mage to and build a basically an AI that would answer questions specific to a research paper. And the result was that we were able to build that AI that answers all the questions based only on these provided documents. So the MCP process flow that we'll go through is that we'll connect to our client, or we'll connect our client to the document server. That client will find available tools and resources and search a query to find relevant chunks from the documents. Once it finds those, it will retrieve them, and the content will then be sent to Claude for final analysis, with the rule that it will only answer based on the specified documents that it searched through, not the general training data. So some key benefits of MCP are really our resource optimization benefits. There's one connection for anything or for everything. So instead of building separate connections between every AI tool and every data source, MCP works like a universal adapter. And we're getting answers from our actual documents, not from general training data. So the information is directly from our files and databases instead of its general training data. So some business impacts that you may see are built-in efficiency. You can reduce integration costs by eliminating custom connectors. Operational excellence, so improve AI system reliability and accuracy. And then scalability benefits enable efficient scaling across multiple knowledge sources. So that's it for the slide deck. Let's go ahead and head over to Mage Pro. And we will open up our attractor pipeline here. So the first chunk of code I want to discuss is the MPC server code. And so if you're familiar with Mage, most of your code is found in a block. What I found best for our MPC server was to actually create a standalone file, not use a block in Mage, and then just store it in our repo here. You can see MCP document server stored here under our demo folder, but it is not an actual block that would run in the pipeline. The blocks that do, or one of the blocks that is running in our pipeline, will refer to this MCP document server, and it will use the code that way. So what our MPC server is doing is really creating a standardized bridge that lets AI tools access and search through document chunks. Instead of manually feeding the documents to AI, this lets AI tools actively discover, search, and read the documents and content on demand. So if you can see here, there is a sizable amount of code. And what I'm going to do for everybody is it is documented very well. So I will put it in my GitHub a little later this afternoon, and then I can link everybody back to that repo who is interested. But you can see that it is activating some of the core functions here and lists the available documents. So really what we would want to do if you were productionizing a lot of this, or if you were productionizing this, would be setting up a vector store and converting document chunks into embeddings and enable semantic search. But for this quick demonstration, we're just going to do some basic text matching or returning the first few chunks in a more simple way so that you can develop a POC really quick if you need to do that. So let's go over to our blocks of code. The first code block is here is just going to grab our PDF file that we're going to analyze. You can see that it creates some metadata here. And if we want to go ahead and run this code, we can run this. It takes a few seconds, and then we can see that we return our metadata, so a title, author, things like that, and then our content as well. So you can see that we successfully extracted 17 pages. If you're needing to extract a significant amount of information from multiple sources, you would definitely want to create a vector store before doing that. So we'll move on to our to one of our transformation blocks. This is just to clean and normalize our text. So you can see that it removes excess white space, fixes some extraction artifacts, strips repetitive content, and normalizes the formatting of the document. So let's go ahead and run this code. See our return. And you can see that we have clean text and also some metadata. It's counting our character count and also just providing us a timestamp when it was processed. The next code we're going to look at is chunking the PDF document. It chunks into 4,000 characters. So this actually chunks into 11 different blocks. And then you can see that we'll go ahead and run this code. You can see that we're returning our chunks and some metadata as well. You can see that the document processed into 11 chunks and still that 37,339 characters. So this next block, we're going to interact with Anthropic. So this block is where we're going to call our MCP server. So you can see that in this code here, we're calling our MPC server. And then also we are calling Claude further down in this part of code here. You will, if you do decide to go to GitHub and pull this or clone this repo, you will need to get your own Claude API key and then add that as a secret in Mage. So you can see that there are some rules and some questions that are written here, and this just kind of guides, this just kind of makes sure that the parameters are set that Claude only answers based on the document that was provided. And you can give it different parameters or rules within that prompt if you want to. We'll go ahead and run this code. And you can see this does take a little bit of time. And you can see that Claude was able to provide back an answer based on the document that it was given. We'll run this final block of code, which is just an data exporter. And you can see that it is providing an answer based solely on the document it was given. One other thing to note that may be beneficial is that Mage can you can automatically trigger a pipeline in Mage using either a scheduler or a API call. So if you had some kind of external chat bot or some kind of AI you wanted to use, you could you could trigger that through an API call if somebody typed in a question or a prompt for your AI and submitted that prompt. The button could trigger an API call to run this pipeline and then return back an answer to them. I don't have that. I didn't build that functionality into this to show this just because I wanted to keep it simple. But that would be a possibility in Mage Pro to do that. So this was basically it for the lunch and learn today. Are there any questions from the audience? I want to give it a minute or two for anybody to ask questions. I know there is a lag, but so I'll give it a minute or so just to ask questions. All right. Well, if there are no questions from people in the audience, then that will be it for today. I'm glad you joined us. You can also rewatch this, and I will submit this to GitHub so you can go back and review the code. Thank you, and have a great day.